Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're going to continue on with part 2 of sealed Pokemon investing. So, last episode that we put up, or last video that I put up, was about sealed Pokemon investing and very much a beginner's guide. It was very much about some tips on what to look for when you're looking to purchase, so which sealed products are going to perform historically the best. Today is very much a how-to. So we've sort of learned some mechanics and some basics around sealed Pokemon investing. Today, we really want to look at the functions behind it. Where do we buy them? How do we buy them? How do we then sell them? Because at the end of the day, when we're looking at investing, we're buying at a certain price point and we're hoping to sell it at a higher price point and hence make some money, because that's what investing is all about. So let's jump into it and have a look. Tip 1, buying low. This is very, very hard to get right and almost impossible. Like, who knows? You just have to use your best educated guess. I'm looking at Astral Radiance here. On the left is a graph over the past year of the pricing of the booster box. As you can see, it's gone up. So you could certainly argue that buying it now would not be as good as buying it back in December last year, because it's gone up about, what, $20 odd a booster box. So it's impossible to time. A set could be printed once and done, so one and done. It could be printed and prices relatively low. Then as supply runs out, because demand gobbles up some of the supply, price starts going up, like what's happened here in the Astral Radiance example. But then there could be another big print wave and all of a sudden that dips back down to $90 to $100 a box. Another thing to keep in mind is the rotation policy. So once a year, older sets will get taken out of rotation for competitive play. Not everyone buys Pokemon to collect it or invest in it. A lot of people buy it to actually play the game. So once a year, they'll go out of rotation. Some people argue that it's very, very hard for a set to be reprinted, or Pokemon TCG will be unlikely to reprint product after it's gone out of rotation, which historically has proven correct, not all the time, but a fair amount of the time. Fact of the matter is, the right time to buy is really just an educated guess. The best educated guess, in my opinion, is after the first or second print wave, as demand starts to die off and maybe Pokemon release a new set where people turn their attention to. That's probably the time to buy. Tip 2 is a really easy one, but when you're searching for something, whether it's on Google here, like I'm having a squiz through, obviously click price low to high and make sure you're buying from a reputable source. I'm going to give you another example in a second. I'm scrolling through here though, but as you can see, Astral Radiance, this is Australian dollars, currently sitting around, $200 plus. You're probably going to have shipping and handling on top of that. That seems to be about the cheapest you can get one. As much as I love to support local gaming stores online, I always seem to get drawn back to eBay, because that's what I normally use to sell. And obviously the tip here, select your products. I've searched for Astral Radiance booster box, of course. I've gone price low to high. The cheapest one we can see there is $200 plus $9.95 postage and handling. Scrolling through though, and as you can see, there's boxes on here for $250. There's probably boxes on here for $280, $300, but I'll wind back down to the cheapest one here, the $209.95. You just want to double check it's not a new seller, that they don't have bad feedback, because there's some warning signs there. But if we scroll down to this guy, 1,362 items sold with 100% positive feedback. I don't think there's any warning signs at all there. Probably a good option to purchase. So tip 3, tracking your collection. I like to use the Collector app, and I just want to make this clear, this isn't my collection, 16,700, not mine. I've made a dummy one to show you guys. I've added a couple of Sun and Moon booster boxes, a heap of Celebrations Ultra Premium collections in there, Burning Shadows, etc. I've added in a heap of booster boxes and Ultra Premium collections just to show you how it all works. What we might do though up the top is type in the Astral Radiance booster box, because that's what we're having a look at. So what you can do, you can type in, say you've just purchased it, you think you've got yourself a pretty good deal at $210 delivered. Sometimes on eBay there's some offers where you might get like a code and it gives you a bit of a discount, so you might be able to get $12 off or something, $198 delivered.
you think you've got yourself a pretty good deal on an Astral Radiance booster box. You've stored it somewhere safe at home, but how do you actually track it in a collection? So what you can do on the Collector app, you can add it into your collection. I'll show you in a second. You scroll down, you click the plus button, so you search for it, you add an Astral Radiance booster box to your collection. From there, you can type in what price you paid for it, and then it'll show you net profit and loss. So if you've paid $200 for an Astral Radiance booster box, and all of a sudden the market starts shifting up to 210, then you've obviously made yourself a bit of profit. Maybe you've held it in there for 3 years, and all of a sudden the Collector app has an Astral Radiance booster box sitting at $420 Australian. So you've now doubled your money. You've gone from a purchase price of $210 delivered, and it's sitting at a market price currently of $420 because it's well out of print. It's 3 years old now, or it's 4 years old now. It's well out of rotation. Doesn't look like it's ever going to be printed again. And you might think, well, now's the time to sell. I've doubled my money. Let's see if I can get $420 for it. I'm going to put it on the market, and then I can maybe buy 2 new booster boxes with a new set out. Maybe something similar will happen to that over the next 3 or 4 years. Well, that'll double in price. And then it's time to sell. So, tip 4, the sell. There's plenty of places that you can sell Pokemon cards. Personally, I choose to use eBay when it comes to sealed Pokemon cards. I feel that eBay has avenues to protect both buyer and seller, whereas there's obviously means, talking Australia here, there's means like Gumtree, which is like our local website where you can buy and sell, probably similar to Craigslist or something, I think it's called over in the US. There's things like Facebook Marketplace that you can, of course, use. There's forums where you can buy and sell. But for me personally, I like to use eBay. I know they're going to take that 12% that they take, so you need to factor that into account when you sell it. If you sell something for $430, it's likely that you're only going to get $390 to $400 in your pocket. So if we're talking the ideal world, we buy at the right time, we log on to eBay, we find an Astral Radiance booster box, and let's rewind the clock back, say 4 months. We buy it for 180 Australian dollars. It gets delivered to our doorstep for that price because it had free shipping. Time goes by, we log it into our Collector app. We notice that over time, maybe it's a year and it's up to $240 a box, then 2 years it's up to $290 a box, and then 3.5 years, perfect scenario, it's up to $430 a box. It's time to sell because we think we've made an ideal profit out of that box. We list it on eBay again. After fees and services, we pocket $385 and we've doubled our money.